So this is how a wire tester works, but it's not going to light up because I don't have any juice running into this outlet. But you just push it in right like that, and you'll see with this one an orange light come up. Same thing would happen though if you had a lamp or anything that you're plugging in electricity. You need electricity to run, make sure it's turned on. When the juice is not flowing to it, it won't work. When the juice is flowing to it, the yellow light comes on or the music plays. So it's that simple. That's how you test electricity. Make sure you turn off the electricity before you try to mess with electrical outlets because it'll hurt. This is a basic box. It's a box that actually nails into the wall into a stud. So your light switches and your outlets will actually have a box like this behind the sheetrock of the wall. And so you actually hammer it into a stud, into the 2x4 that hangs up. Hammer those in, and then the outlet just sits, screws right into there. That plastic protects, because plastic doesn't conduct electricity, that plastic conducts the wiring, or protects the wiring so you don't shock yourself. This one is for new. Those nails you can just nail into the side of the 2x4 that you have an exposed 2x4. This is actually for a remodel. So you cut a hole in the wall where you want it to go. Any place it doesn't have to, you just cut a hole in the sheetrock about the right size. This is missing it, but there's little blue flaps that are actually, you screw down and will raise up so this box won't come back out. And so you can retrofit or remodel with something like this. You can see the back in both of them, they've got these little flaps. And those flaps push out and the wire comes in. The wire looks like this. You've got your black, which is your hot. You've got your white, which is your neutral. And you've got your copper, your bare wire, which is going to be your grounded. And you're going to take your wire cutters, which are going to be right here. You're going to size them appropriately, and you're going to peel off that plastic. You don't want to cut the copper. You just want to get the sheathing, the plastic sheathing, the black or the white, off of there and expose a bare wire. But you want to keep the sheathing further back. So you want to go down just a little bit, so just enough that you have it, that you either bury it deep into that hole right there, or you wrap it around, but you want that plastic to be pulled back so that the metal touches the metal and nothing beyond. And that will supply energy here, supply the electricity that you need. But that's the basic wire that you've got in your wall, right there. That's actually a 14 gauge wire. And actually, as the numbers get larger, 14, 16, the wire actually gets smaller. As the numbers get smaller, the wire gets larger. So 12 is going to be thicker than this. So it changes much like, oddly enough, like a shotgun. Gauging, the number gets bigger, the size gets smaller. But you see the copper inside there, and you just peel back that plastic. The best thing to do that with is going to be a wire cutter. You can use this end piece to trim off extra. You can strip out the plastic with these teeth in the front. It's kind of hard to see on these, but 12, 14, 16, you can see a different size gauge wire that you can strip out. Yeah, I spent a little too much time sitting in a moist space, in a moist garage, so a little bit of wetness. So anyway, I'm gonna need a screwdriver for this, or use a drill. So, drill, nice to have, but not a requirement. So it makes it a little bit easier on your hand instead of having to run. So, what else did I want to show you? That's the big thing. Oh, one last thing. You got a plate. The plate is going to go right on top of the outlet when you're done. Screws right in the middle, like I showed you with the last one, and that's going to cover. There's face plates for switches. There's face plates for duplex. And there's a quadplex, which is actually a four outlet piece. This is two. This is a four cover. So if you're lucky enough to have 4 outlets side by side like that, you can actually do that and connect them all together, or just a deuce, 2. So either one, whatever you got. But that way you don't actually reach your fingers back behind and hit the left. You got this one, which is for just a regular outlet. This is actually child-proof. This is designed to be a child-proof. And what ends up happening is that the way this is designed, you're going to slide this off, You're just going to unscrew this middle screw right here, and then screw this one on in its place. What happens is you actually, and these may be a little rusty from time, but these are designed to actually close. Let me show you. So the plate is going to sit like that. So it's childproof. So you actually have to come along with your your item that you're trying to use, and you have to actually open it up with the prongs from your electrical outlet or from your electrical item that you're trying to plug in to get them to line up to insert. But once you unplug the item, if it's working properly, it goes back over, and the kid can't put a finger in there or stick something in there by accident. So those are really a nice safety feature for parents who want to try to protect their little ones as they're wandering around. This is a standard American outlet. Goes right, this is what you're plugging everything into. Quick rundown of what's here. These silver pieces are the places where you can hook up for your neutral or your white wire. You got your ground wire, which is green, and you can fish hook around them and then tighten them down, or you can shove into the circular hole in the back and tighten it down. Either one will work the exact same as long as you don't leave exposed wire beyond the plastic. On this side you've got the hot. If you can't figure it out because of the color, it actually says hot wire and white wire on the back. You got your ground wire on the green. The screws at the top and bottom, well, this one's missing a screw on this end, but the screw on the top there just screws into the box, which holds the outlet in place. And so actually pull your wire through, and then as long as the end of your wire, your exposed wire, copper wire, is touching the metal, you're good to go. This is going to be your ground right here. Not all cables are going to have a ground, but your heavier duty stuff will often have a ground. Otherwise, just the two prongs. Your hot and your neutral will work right there. So electricity comes in, goes back out. And then if there's ever an issue, something goes wrong, it's grounded right here in case there's a surge of power. The grounding is there to try to protect. But not all are going to have a grounded wire. It's not required to have that. So that's just a basic. This is actually where you're going to have the front plate is going to attach to protect and keep you from touching those wires. Anytime you work with electricity, make sure that you turn the power off fully. And make sure you turn it off fully so that you don't shock yourself. This is a GFCI. This is grounded, and what this will actually do is it'll trip. You use these in the bathrooms and in the kitchen around the sink, so that if it trips, it gets any water around it, it'll actually trip and shut itself off, so you don't electrocute yourself. It's pretty bulky, and they run about 20 bucks a piece. They're not cheap. You see there's the neutral, and there we've got the hot. What it doesn't want you to do is relay to another outlet. It wants you to use this as an end outlet instead of a continuation to another outlet. Whereas the other system that I was showing you a moment ago adds on. You can basically daisy chain them. You can take the head in with one and the head out with another, so you can link them all together, a whole series of outlets. This one wants to be an end outlet, so nothing's beyond it. So if it trips, it only trips at one. So if you're ever in the bathroom and your hairdryer won't work, you just push this reset button, and it won't work now, but you'll hear it click if it ever trips, and that just shuts all the power off. So if you come along with a tester, and up at that spot up here, there's actually a light bulb that lights up if there's juice. Over here we've got some needle nose pliers, and right here you can actually cut the wire, or you can bend it into a fish hook and wrap it around the posts on the back, or you can shove it in, as I said earlier, into these holes and connect it.